The following is a presentation of TFNN. The Morning Market Kickoff with your host, Tommy O'Brien. Now, Tommy O'Brien.
Good morning, everybody. I'm Tommy O'Brien, coming to you live from TFNN Thursday morning, 8:30 a.m. We're going to get initial weekly jobless claims as we speak right now. Coming into that number, we have the S&P's flat, trading at 36.67. You're looking at the NASDAQ, slightly positive. NASDAQ futures up 30 points right now, trading at 12,485. We got the Dow up 18 points as well, 29,884. And the Russell flat right now, 1837. Commodities, crude, down about 15 cents at 45.11. Gold contract continuing to catch a bid. Quite a run we've now had off the lows. You're talking about a movement, folks, of $80 from 1767 when we were trading early in the week, Sunday night, right into really where we were at the beginning of the day on Monday. You trade from 1767 to 1847 overnight. Gold up $10 at 1839. Got to talk about Bitcoin up $300 at 19,595. And notes and bonds, a little bit of a reprieve, as in a little bit of higher price, lower yield. We had the 10-year yesterday gunning for almost 1% for a yield. Right now, we have the 10-year up 4 ticks at 137.17, backing off a bit on yield, and we got the 30-year up 10 ticks at 172.15. We'll jump over to the VIX this morning. Volatility index 2086 right now on that index. In terms of what else we have going on, and there's the number, 712,000. So under the number they were looking for. Expectation was for about 780,000. The estimate only 712,000. It's remarkable saying only, folks, because weekly, this is an initial weekly jobless claim, right? I stress it every week. I love doing the show at 8:30 in the morning. We get a lot of great economic indications, economic numbers that come out at 8:30, weekly jobless claims. That's one of them. Tomorrow, we're going to get payrolls for the month of November at 8:30. That'll be exciting. But prior to COVID, 712,000 jobs. Initial jobless claims in any other week would be a record-setting week. And still, here we are in December. Every single week, we're above a record from a prior world prior to COVID ever before. We had never lost. I think it was 697,000 jobs was the record. We're at 712,000, above the expectation, though, and the market, just kind of no reaction there. It's 36.67 in the S&Ps. You see a little bit of volatility on that bar, but nothing too dramatic as of yet. All right, I'm going to kick it off with Tesla, because why not? Tesla getting an upgrade. You want to talk about a price target, folks. You ready for this one? How about Goldman Sachs and giving it $780? Goldman Sachs upgrades Tesla to a buy from neutral. Street high target, 780 from 455. How about that? As they talk about the shift to electric vehicle, I mean, we all kind of know that's happening, but Goldman really putting it out there with almost an 800 price target. You see the acceleration for Tesla. Now, interesting here, you back it up to Monday night on Tesla. There's the acceleration on the news that they'll be added to the S&P all at once. We really saw nothing in terms of a demand or a bid at all. The only demand here, we'll see if it can hold that bid on the open, but quite an upgrade from Goldman when you think about going from 455 to 780 on that stock, with a huge upside from where we are right now if it hits that 780 price tag. Man, we hit 780. That might put Elon at number one in the world richest man, right? I think so. I think he's got 170 million shares of Tesla. So every dollar is 170 million. Every $6 or so is $1 billion in his pocket. And we're up, 25, 26 bucks so far right now, looking for that all-time high that we got on Monday of 607.80. All right, it is still earnings season in a big way. We're going to jump over to some of the stocks with earnings so far today. Express, how about dropping 25% pre-market? Comp sales down 30% in the quarter. The market was only looking for comps of minus 14%. That's a big one, largely resulting from continued steep declines in wear to work and occasion-based categories. Express, right? I personally don't shop there, but what is their symbol here? Yeah, EXPR. It makes sense. I mean, formal attire, all this stuff, it's not even formal attire, just attire in general. I I mean, this has been a tough stock period, right? Back it up. Prior to COVID, before all of that, we were at $5 already. You back this thing up in terms of Express, we'll put it on a 5-year weekly. We're at 21. Folks, you don't have to be a channel master to see where this stock is going, from 21 to 57 cents this morning. You think you were getting a bargain at 160? Well, as the article said, you're going to lose 25% of your value as it's going to open about $1.20, 30% declines. Just a tough time to be in that business selling clothes that are for wear to work and occasion-based categories. Comp retail sales decreased 33% and comparable outlet sales down 20%. Gross margin was 4.3% gross margin. What was the consensus? 21% from 28% a year ago. Tough numbers across the board. CrowdStrike, they are trading in the opposite direction, higher after they beat third quarter with 86% year-over-year revenue growth to $232 million. Subscription revenue up 87%. CRWD is their symbol, and there's a pop for you from 142 to 163. You put it in some context. This is just basically an inverse chart of Express. A one-way rocket ship up, and we're going to open at all-time highs today in CrowdStrike. The high, 155, just made a few days ago, and I think that puts it all on the chart. Yeah, pretty much. This only goes back to June of 2019. So we're going to open all-time highs on CrowdStrike this morning. Dollar General out with their numbers as well. Beats by 35 cents. Beats on revenue. I believe they checked on them earlier. They think they're trading a little bit lower. DG is their symbol, Dollar General. See where we are. Yeah, we're a few dollars lower this morning. There's your drop to 213 from 218, but as the last chart indicated, it's been quite a run from them. From 125, we're going to open today at 215. You're talking about $90 from the low. Pre-COVID, we were at about 160, give or take the highs for the year. We started the calendar year at 154. We're going to open about 214. Their numbers, $2.31 a share. They beat by 35 cents. Revenue, $8.2 billion, pretty close to in line. I mean, you're talking about $8.2 billion, and looks like the consensus would have been $8.13 billion. Same-store sales increasing 12.2. Market was looking for 11.3%. And uncertainty, no issuing update fiscal sales or guidance. So market doesn't like to see that as much. That's probably the reason why you're seeing this lower. No guidance, and the market says that's not ideal at this stage in the COVID. There's in March, in June, you really couldn't penalize, in my opinion, and the market can, but you couldn't penalize executives for giving you forecasts in such an uncertain period of time. There's a lot of certainty that's arrived in this market in terms of being able at least to forecast, okay? There's not uncertainty in some who's going to be the winners and the losers as we come out of this. But there is some certainty now as we're going to start receiving vaccine shots in the next couple of weeks. You had the CDC meeting earlier this week talking about who gets the shots first. You're going to see in the next 3 to 6 months those vaccines get disseminated across the country, across the globe. As an executive of a Fortune 500 company, you should be able to forecast how that's going to affect your business, what you'll be looking for. And if you can't, that means there might be problems down the road. That's the way I would look at that thing. Let's check in on some of the FANG stocks as we come into the break. Amazon shares up about $10. There's some volatility for you in the open yesterday. Apple shares, after a couple days of trading higher, we keep creeping higher every day. Look at that open yesterday. We were at 121 yesterday. We're going to open a bit higher at 123.56 this morning for Apple shares. S&P's -1 following the initial weekly jobless claims number. We'll get into that in a little bit after the break. Stay tuned, folks. Be right back.
Many of our new listeners have heard about The Tiger's Den. The Tiger's Den is a lively community where professional traders and investors can meet, exchange ideas and information in a comfortable, moderated atmosphere. Hear all of the TFNN shows, plus see all of the charts as they happen live and have access to archives of all of those charts. You can test drive The Tiger's Den absolutely free for 30 days and greatly enrich your knowledge of these markets and how to make your money work for you. Details on The Tiger's Den are on the front page of TFNN.com.
TFNN has launched our brand new website. You can still visit us at the same TFNN.com URL, but when you do, you'll see a new and improved homepage with a much simpler navigation, whether you're watching Tiger TV live in high definition or just accessing your newsletter subscriptions. We even have new pricing in 6 months and yearly options. Check out the new TFNN.com now and experience all the upgrades. TFNN.com, educating investors.
Hi, folks. This is Tom O'Brien. The printing presses are working 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. The U.S. deficit has risen 200% in 1 year with no end in sight. The markets are looking for an additional stimulus bill to get us through this once-in-a-generation pandemic. There is no free lunch, folks. The more stimulus dollars put into the marketplace, the less your dollar is worth each and every day. This is the time to protect yourself with a portion of your portfolio in the metal market. The Gold Report comes out each Monday morning. I bisect and dissect the dollar, silver, gold, the XAU, and the HUI. The Gold Report is a long-term hedge against the dilution of your buying power. The U.S. has put more than $6 trillion into the marketplace in the last 6 months, with more expected in the next few months. The market did and does need the stimulus, but it will have long-term implications on our buying power. The Gold Report comes with a 30-day money-back guarantee. Go to TFNN.com and order the Gold Report now. Protect your buying power. Order the Gold Report now.
Are China A-shares hot or not? If you trade China A-shares, now may be time to take a closer look. Trade CHAU or CHAD, Directions Daily CSI 300 China A-share Bull and Bear ETFs. China A-shares in either direction. Visit directioninvestments.com today. An investor should consider the investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses of the Direction shares carefully before investing. The prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction shares. To obtain a prospectus or summary prospectus, please contact Direction shares at 866-476-7523. The prospectus or summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. An investment in the funds is subject to risk, including the possible loss of principal. The funds are designed to be utilized only by sophisticated investors such as traders and active investors. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC.
Don't forget, you can listen to TFNN live on your mobile device 24 hours per day. Go to TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV. That's TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV for the latest market information.
Welcome back, folks. We have the S&P is -1, NASDAQ positive by 12 points right now, the Dow positive by 26. No real reaction out of the gate on that weekly jobless claims number, sitting at 36.66. Some context back to a daily. You start the year out at about 32.36 in the S&P, so you're 430 points above where we started the year. Remarkable, considering what's going on. You back it up to 2,100. You're up 1,500 points from the lows, but on a yearly basis, I mean, that's a big number we're up, folks. You're talking about 320 points, so it'd be 10%. We're up 460 points. You're talking about 14% buying the S&P 500. And that's the reason why that's happening. A lot of certainty, as I said, as in we have to wait. Okay, there's a period of time we're going to have to wait 3 months, 6 months until these vaccines get made available to the general public in large numbers. We'll go with Bloomberg has a great article on that, talking about the U.S. versus the EU versus Britain and when those numbers will be reached. But the market is aware it's coming. They're making educated bets about when that's coming. Getting ahead of it doesn't mean we won't see some volatility to the downside, folks. This has been quite a run for the month of November. As you start that month at give or take, we're talking about 32.25 on October 30th. We close out at 32.78 because you had quite a run, but we were pretty low on that October 30th, 32.25. And you're talking about 440 points that you are up since the lows of October 30th. Remarkable, the run that it's had. Okay, getting into some of the numbers that we are here. Jobless claims, I want to go over real quick before we jump around. So we got the headline number 712,000. Okay, last week's number was 778, I believe. Do they have it in here? I believe it was 778 or thereabouts. This is the lowest number during the pandemic. Falling for the first time in 3 weeks. I want to get into continuing claims real quick. Continuing claims declined 569,000 to 5.52 million. But what always happens here, right? They don't have the numbers in here, is you have people transitioning from regular state unemployment. They exhaust their state unemployment benefits. Then they transfer to the Pandemic Assistant Unemployment Program, PAU. That number rising. Nonetheless, good to see actually ticking down. Hopefully we'll see that number continue to tick down in the next 3-6 months as this vaccine becomes available. So this is the article I was talking about from Bloomberg, and it talks about here that the EU falling a little bit behind. So you have Operation Warp Speed in the U.S., and then you have the UK vaccine drive, leaving Europe behind the pace. So the gap seen widening amid rising infections and repeat lockdowns. Now I'm going to jump around a little bit here, okay, but it's all the context of where we currently sit. U.S. tops the unfathomable milestone of 100,000 hospitalizations, folks. We are at a record hospitalization number. I believe we may have reached a record number of deaths yesterday as well. I'll pull it up, but stark numbers where we are right now, even though there's light at the end of the tunnel. And you get into where, you know, there's going to be affecting the market. You have LA issuing an order for residents to stay home as these numbers rise, and you fear hospitals getting overrun. It's not just the death numbers rising. If you see hospitals get overrun, that death rate will go through the roof compared to where it is now when you can't even care for the sickest of the sick. So you get into this Bloomberg article here, and what it talks about is the EU will likely have enough vaccine for 2/3 of its population by September of 2021, hitting that level more than 4 months after the US and 2 months behind the UK. The 2/3 number, they believe 60 to 70%. Here they are. So several Western countries making plans to begin the vaccination imminently. Regardless of how soon they start, immunizing 60 to 70% of the population is the critical point, as that is the point that it may allow societies to safely open. You start to reach that herd immunity, 60 to 70% if they are vaccinated. If you have antibodies, that is where herd immunity takes over. It's a big number, folks. I can tell you myself, I'm going to look at all the numbers when they come out eventually, but there's already a lot of numbers out. These vaccines look to be completely safe and super effective, and I plan on taking one when it's ready. You have the story breaking out yesterday. The prior 3 presidents, Bush, Obama, Clinton, they plan to take the vaccine on television, just trying to spread awareness that this is something, you know, the internet, folks, it's going to be full of every single thought that you can imagine about these vaccines, and use your own brain to imagine what they're going to be saying. The data says that they're safe. Now, that doesn't mean they're trying to prepare people, because it's important, because you got to get 2 tests, okay? You got to get 2 shots. So they're trying to prepare people. You may experience discomfort, 10 to 15% of people, discomfort, maybe soreness, maybe you're tired for a period of about a day, day and a half. But folks, you got to get it done, because we got to open the economy back up. It's safe. You know, we got to get over this hump. That's the way to do it. I'm going to do my part, and hopefully it happens. But when you get into this, it's stark numbers when you look about the country setting it up. So here it is. When you look at where the countries or continents are as to where you reach 2/3 of your population, the U.S., I mean, we're right around the corner, folks. This was encouraging. We could hit that number by May. That is encouraging. When you talk about hitting that number by May, as the U.S. in black here would be at about 220 million, representing about 2/3 of our country. And meanwhile, you'd have the UK on the bottom. They have to get to 44 million, about 45 million to hit that herd immunity number. They look to achieve that by July. But the EU, with such big numbers, they got to get all the way to 300 million, and that's going to take them potentially to September. So you're going to see this playing out. International travel, probably one of the last things that's going to be normalized. That wouldn't make sense, right? But the EU falling a little bit behind, and it'd be interesting to see. And they talk about, as this plays in here with the UK and Brexit, quite a time as they get to emphasize their own difference here, and looks to be ahead of the EU. But the U.S., either way, the U.S. looks to be out in front, which is always promising as an American, for sure. Okay, what else we got going on? Jumping around to stocks, making moves. So we talked about Express, Tesla, Dollar General, CrowdStrike. Yeah, Stitch Fix, they're down today as they get a downgrade to underweight from equal weight. The stock has unfavorable risk reward from here after a 50% rally this year. Pretty tough when you think about it. I remember them coming out with their earnings last time. Yeah, here they were. Look at this. You trade down for a couple days and then take off like a rocket ship. And we're down pretty marginally. This should be a dream scenario for Stitch Fix in that, number one, people aren't working. But yeah, you're at home and you don't want to be shopping. And so maybe you're able to capitalize on that in some way. But they are struggling right now, risk reward wise, as the downgrade says. I mean, you came into this at about 30 and you're trading at 38. Now, you could make the same argument as Express. They could be trading a lot lower because people aren't buying, you know, suits and the likes. But they're an online company that deals with clothes online specifically. and they're struggling a little bit. They get down to 10, but they're at 38, and I think that's almost the entirety of their chart. No, look at that. They were up to 52 at one point before they really fell out of bed about a year ago in October. Okay, back to a 15-minute, jumping around to some of the commodities on gold. Up about $9, backing off a bit from 1847 right now. Crude, same deal, off about 5 pennies, but holding up pretty well. And I'm going to pull up a chart of the euro, because check out the action on the stocks. Euro dollar at 121. The run continues, folks. A lower dollar, higher euro. I mean, look at this run that we just had from Tuesday. We were at 119. We're at 121.50, let alone 118 last week. Huge moves across the board in currencies in a big way, hitting the metals and hitting the markets as well. But the S&Ps, we're just hanging out, 36.66 right now at the top. Stay tuned, folks. Come back after the break. We got 2 specials going on. Larry Pesavento, he's doing a webinar, 5-hour webinar, live trading, 6 days from right now. That's on the front page of TFNN. And we got a special for the TAS market profile scanning as well. We'll talk about those as well as what else we have for Thursday trading. Be right back in a minute.
Back in the day, I joined Hotel California in 2006, and like many of you, was run in by, as well as...
Whatever you think about, you bring about. Whatever you focus on grows.
You see, I believe that everything in life happens for us, not to us. And Tom ignited the fire within me to want to learn how to master the markets. So how did I go from knowing nothing about technical analysis to becoming the #1 market timer for the S&P 500 in 2018 and the #2 market timer in 2019? Simply put, I hired coaches with a proven track record, which led me to a whole new set of tools that I created to interpret the message of buyers and sellers. I would love the opportunity to teach you this award-winning set of tools and help you improve your market timing. You can test drive my newsletter service, Mastering Probabilities, for the next 30 days with no risk to you. Plus, you'll gain access to archive workshops that'll take you step-by-step through my system. Sign up today by going to the homepage of TFNN.com and selecting Mastering Probability in the newsletter tab. Bam!
If you haven't checked out the newsletters page of TFNN.com, what are you waiting for? All of the TFNN newsletters are informative, up-to-date, affordable, and a must-have for every trader looking to gain a competitive informational edge in today's markets. TFNN newsletters cover every aspect of the markets to offer you the very latest in market news. Plus, new subscribers get to test drive our newsletters risk-free for 30 days. From all aspects of the markets, including stocks, bonds, metals, commodities, and tech, there's a newsletter to fit your needs exclusively from TFNN. Stay informed each day you trade and get that competitive edge that will help you stay ahead of the game. Visit our newsletters page by going to TFNN.com and click the newsletters button near the top of the page. TFNN.com, educating investors.
Introducing Primal Edge.
Today, it's even more important to take a supplement that complements your health. Primal Edge is specifically formulated to boost your immune system and help with weight loss, better sleep, stress reduction, and the need to detox.
Our early ancestors found all their nutritional requirements in the wild environment. But today, our food sources don't contain the vitamins, minerals, and nutrients that we need to stay healthy and strong.
That's why we need Primal Edge Daily Nutrition. It includes a special blend of ionic, soil-based, vitamins, minerals, fatty and amino acids in an easy-to-use liquid form.
Primal Edge is powered by highly concentrated humic and fulvic acids, nature's preferred delivery system. They've been called miracle molecules because, like sunlight, air, and water, without them, life cannot exist.
That's right, Ellen. They ensure we receive all the nutrition we need to be healthy and thrive. We take it every morning.
Primal Edge. Just $89 exclusively at TFNN.com.
Don't forget, you can listen to TFNN live on your mobile device 24 hours per day. Go to TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV. That's TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV for the latest market information.
Welcome back, folks. We get the S&Ps right now -1, NASDAQ positive by 16, Dow positive by 14, Russell flat coming into the open, 35 minutes. Coming up next, folks, our man Larry Pesavento. Very fortunate to have Larry kicking it off on the open every day with Trade What You See at 9 o'clock. But next Wednesday, he's not going to be doing his show, folks, because he's going to be in there with a live trading and methodology webinar with Larry Pesavento. Wednesday, December 9th, 6 days away. If you sign up, folks, you gain access to his newsletter, Fibonacci 24/7. That's a $97 value. This will be 5 hours. It's $295. Again, you get the $97 value of Fibonacci 24/7. This will be archived if you can't attend all of it live. And the cool thing is, everybody who attended one of the prior webinars that Larry did this year, he's done 2 of these, they're going to be able to attend for free. If you're out there, you probably received an email yesterday letting you know of the details. You'll be able to attend that class for free. So there should be a good environment of a lot of people in there asking questions, participants, the whole deal, and quite a market we have in terms of the volatility in this thing. And also, maybe you heard Steve Dahl, president of Taz Profile Scanner, Taz Market Profile. He was on the show with Tom and I yesterday. So they just did an upgrade on their Taz Profile Scanner. I'm sure you've heard maybe Steve Rhodes talk about it a lot in his program. I use it, Tom uses it, Steve uses it. Tremendous program out there for the market using Market Profile. You can save $100 off your first month. Normally it's $197. You get it for $97. Still comes with a 30-day money-back guarantee, folks. You don't like it, cancel, ask for a money-back guarantee, pay nothing. I encourage you to check it out. If you had not tried the program, it is an amazing piece of software to break this down in terms of the markets, sorting, scanning the market for setups. Try that out as that's going on this month, $100 off. And again, comes with that money back guarantee. All right, checking around the markets, folks, kind of just hanging out. Pretty slow action. We'll see how the market opens. We'll see if it stays slow or not. We will find out. But S&Ps right now, flat. Not usually the case as we come into the open. Literally within a point, NASDAQ up 18, Dow up 13. Stay tuned, folks. We got our man Larry. He's coming up next live with Trade What You See. I'll be back at 10 o'clock with Tom. Fast Market at 11. Basil Chapman, Steve Rhodes, Dave White, Tom O'Brien, all this afternoon. Stay tuned, folks. Be right back.